Hey yo, what's really good, fam? What's poppin'? It's your boy. And today we're going to talk about Modern Warfare 3. I have seen many, many reviews. I've watched gameplay. I've even given my own gameplay. And I want to give a perspective of a smaller content creator and someone who's put more than, I don't know, 20 minutes into the game. Considering most of the reviews that came out were what, like a couple hours after the game came out itself? And to me, that's not a review, right? You can't review a game based off of a couple hours after it's been out and then also judge its campaign. To me, that's ignorant. But we're also not going to hold back anything either. We're going to go full on. So, with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the video. Alright, so let's talk about the campaign. So, the campaign was actually really good, right? Like, it was really good. The story was pretty good. It definitely put out a lot of Anthem vibes. And the reason I say Anthem vibes is because the story had potential. But the way that it ended, you could tell that it was rushed out of production and leaving you with more questions than answers, right? There were definitely some really, really fun missions. And in a Call of Duty, that's what's expected. You're listening to the review of a person who's been playing Call of Duty since COD 4. Okay? Back when you had missions like Gillies in the Mist or War Pig, back when you first got introduced to Soap, when you were first going through like the what was it? His training to do the first mission, Wet Works, on the boat, right? You're you're looking at stuff like that. These missions were fun and they had a decent story, right? Most players don't play COD for the story. There are some of us, like myself, who do. Like me, who took somewhat of an investment into following Soap as a character, right? Which, of course, Soap and Price, going back to COD 4 and Gaz, are my favorite of the entire franchise. So, with that being said, the campaign was great. Um, I was not very pleased at how they ended Soap out of existence. I think they were trying to go for, I guess, more of a heroic ending, and that wasn't very heroic. Let's just be completely honest. They just kind of, they just kind of ended your boy. They just kind of ended him as if he hasn't had an entire franchise behind him for many, many years, right? As if he just didn't matter. And you can tell that basically that was rushed. That they could have went further, but it seems like they, as a whole, do not care about our money in the process. When it comes to campaign, it definitely didn't feel like they gave us any kind of care about our money because we already paid for it. But considering, again, COD is basically what? Multiplayer, and if it has zombies, it has a zombies community. So, overall, when it comes to campaign, I gotta say that the game was definitely a disappointment. It was. I definitely had a lot of fun during some of the missions. The sniper mission, in certain points gave me some Gillies in the Mist vibes, more or less the ambush than anything, but it lacked a lot. The open world aspect of the campaign was decent and it was nice until you got lost and had no idea where you were going, what you were looking for, and you had nothing in the menu to even give you remotely the idea of what you were looking for. So there were times like that. But outside that, I think it was pretty good. They definitely could have done more, and if they try to push another campaign out as a continuation for $70, that's just going to be massively nasty from their part. Because to me, I think we deserve the rest of the campaign as a free expansion. But considering who we're talking about that has published this game, that'll never happen. So, from this point, yeah, the campaign was definitely a disappointment. Definitely a disappointment. And, yeah, I hate to see Soap go out the way he did. I am very happy that Price did what he did after the credits, which I also feel like that scene after the credits was supposed to be the original ending of that chapter. You know, they just kind of added the credits in between just to kind of end it off and push the product out because they were approaching deadline. That's my idea. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Agree or not, awesome. Doesn't matter. Right? So, yeah, the campaign itself, in my opinion, was like a 2 out of 5. Definitely like a 2 out of 5. You can do what you can when it comes to um, you can do what you do when it comes to like I don't know how to explain it. You can look at the campaign as a, you know, how you play it, how it plays. You know, is it fun? Is it um, something that you can enjoy doing? Does it engage you? Right? You could look at it from that point, or you could look at it from the story driven point. And to be fair, and not to really shit on any of the Call of Duty players, but you know, I don't think the mentality of the majority of people who play Call of Duty really are interested nor give any kind of shit about the campaign because I don't honestly think yeah, I don't think they have that kind of a mind, uh, that kind of mind power for it. But anyway, what can I say? That's my review over the campaign. Now let's jump to the other section of this video. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into the zombies. Honestly, let's just be honest, right? This has to be the most refreshing zombies I've played in a while. And I've been playing zombies since oh man. Uh Black Ops 1 and I take that back. No, that is incorrect. I've been playing since World at War. Back when zombies was like first introduced into everything. I've been playing since then. And I mean the only one I haven't played is Vanguard. And from my understanding, not playing Vanguard is a blessing from what I've heard from other players who have played it, um, etc. So let's talk about it. Most of the people that have reviewed this probably did the same thing that I did, right? They came into the zombies and they were extremely negative. Their mindset was this is not round based, and that's expected. Most of the zombies experiences are, you know, round based. Until you had, what was it, Cold War, when they introduced the open world map for the first time. I never got to play it much because the game never let me. Even though I had zombies installed and was able to play zombies, it would always tell me I didn't have the current DLC. So there was that. I think I only got to play it for like an hour, uh, and that was about it. But that's not the point, right? So when discussing zombies, it's a very sensitive topic because zombies is where I got myself started with streaming, right? I started streaming over on Twitch playing zombies. Um, I used to do a full 12-hour or longer stream of just one session of me just solo running nothing but rounds of zombies, right? So I take a lot when it comes to um, playing zombies, and you know this isn't bad. It's really not. But what is bad is what they did to it after the recent patch. Now the gameplay you're seeing in the background is pre-patch, back before anybody did anything uh, with, well, before they did anything with the whole nerfing of the extractions. Honestly, boosters ruined it. And I do have a few things to say about that situation as well, right? So, from a programming perspective, when you continuously introduce new objects into the world, especially when these objects are not specifically meant to be there or exist in large, very large, like copious amounts, um, you're doing essentially what is a denial of service because you are flooding the game with something that is, you know, bogging it down per se to be to just be more layman about the situation, right? And that's what was happening. Like if you're looking in the background, the people who were here in this exfil before us called it in. The entire time that you're watching this gameplay, the chopper kept telling us landing in 15 seconds, but never landed. Like you'll see when it finally happened, like when it finally came down to her landing, right? You'll finally see it. But like, yeah, they from all the boosting and stuff that went on over here, it glitched the game out. It glitched the game out to the point where we had the storm closing in and we didn't think we were gonna evac. Right? We didn't think we were gonna evac because the plane wouldn't, or the helo wouldn't land. So I mean, I can understand from that point that it was a little bit too much. Seriously, there were times where I went and launched in with a buddy, or if I launched in solo, and man, there were people sitting at the evac with over 50, 60 turrets lined up around it. And that's excessive. If you even walked remotely close to that area or that vicinity, it lagged. And it wasn't just your normal network lag, it was literal frame rate lag. Like, zombies were literally moving like pixelated images, like extremely slow. It looked like they were skating in place. And it's, man, that's not right. Like, I'm completely for boosting glitches, exploits. Hell, I'm even a supporter of mods when it comes to certain games. As long as it doesn't ruin the experience for other players, I am 100% for it. But when you start to take way too much of an advantage over it, and then you start doing ignorant stuff with it, and it starts ruining the actual like experience, things like this happen where we lose the extractions and the exfills, right? What they need to do to replace the exfills is they need to add um, roaming hordes in each of the areas. Just add roaming hordes, hordes that just walk around, right? And you eventually walk into them. Not small ones, like the little bits that come out of the ground. I mean, like an actual roaming horde of like 60 to 80 just chilling. Something like out of Days Gone, right? That would add so much of an experience, and people would literally be walking around looking for them, and it would also be kind of interesting if doing a contract and a roaming horde piles in, it'll push the players like to an extreme. And I think a lot of the round based players would really enjoy having that huge push of horde coming in to the point where they would actually actively seek it out. Um, but yeah, zombies is absolutely amazing. Zombies alone, in my opinion, is well worth the entire payment of the game. By far. I think they do need to add a round base to this game, but overall, I think they've done a great job with what they've put out, and I honestly can't wait to see what's moving forward. Um, I think the zombies alone has huge potential, and yeah, I give the zombies a huge 5 out of 5. Alright, so now we've reached the end of the video, and I want to give my final thoughts. Right. Honestly, it's been a little bit long of a video. I apologize off of that. But I wanted to be a little thorough when going through the two parts that I've put probably close to 1,000 hours into now. Right. Now, my final thoughts is this. I've watched several reviews, right? And one of the reviews that I watched for the campaign, this person, which I'm not going to name the actual content creator's name, said that the campaign was trash. And one of the reasons they mentioned that the campaign was trash was because of Farah. They said that Farah, being a strong female role within the campaign, was quote unquote woke. Okay. I'm sorry, but if you have this mentality and you think this about the game because of a female role as a character in this game, you are a fucking moron. You are a fucking moron, and you do not, you shouldn't be doing reviews. You should not have a voice at all when it comes to a topic such as this. You shouldn't I stick by that 1,000%. If you are completely against a character, especially in a game like this, as a female role, and you think that it's woke, and you think that it's part of some kind of an agenda, you're so far fucking gone that I don't even want to acknowledge or share the same platform as you. Because your ignorance makes all the rest of gamers too look ignorant also. Right? So that's just putting that out there. If you can't tolerate that a female has a strong lead in a video game, it doesn't matter what the game is, especially in a Call of Duty where females are easily in our U.S. military as active soldiers, nonetheless, and probably putting in more work for our country than you are. Don't even, don't even start with that. Do not bring that ignorance in here. Number two, the zombies itself. As I said in the zombies portion, they need to add something that's different, right? Since the boosters went and were ignorant about the overwhelming glitch of laying turrets out all over the entire thing, over the extractions, to the point where it was just, it wasn't even necessary. As I said, 60 turrets is not necessary. It's it's too much. And when you're doing stuff like that, you're now ruining the game for everybody because everybody has to deal with that lag. It's again, it's not necessary, right? You're messing the game up for everybody else. And if you don't care that you're ruining the game for everybody else, you're a fucking piece of shit. Straight up. But I think they need to add roaming hordes. Roaming hordes would make up for the majority of what we lost, right? What we lost was hordes. We don't have that anymore. We have a couple missions that we can do as far as contracts, but that's it, right? You only have those contracts that you can go to, you can do them, and you have to kind of glitch them out anyway by not actually doing them to make the zombies continuously spawn. And I don't see that as being, you know, how they wanted that to be played. I just don't. Honestly, I'm on Act 3 in the zombies campaign, and one of the things I was supposed to do was to, I forget, use the shroud field upgrade and to do, do all this other stuff like 100 zombies and so many mercenaries. And I refuse to do that because I just can't bring myself to do it. If you can, all power to you. But in the end of the day, I think we need roaming hordes that'll give us, more zombies to kill. Outside that, that's my review. If you want more content, you want to see me live, come over to twitch.tv/godified_, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuce.